Hello and welcome to Annual Planner for Sports version 2.0 how-to video. This is a simple annual planner and athlete management system or software done in Excel 2010 and later using PowerPivot, which is a free and very powerful add-on for Microsoft Excel. Please note that this version with full features works only under Microsoft Excel in Windows 2010 and later, but there's also a version, a bare bone version, which only involves annual planner without any metrics and training databases. So basically, I'm going to take you through the annual planner. As you can see, this is a start page, and the whole annual planner is divided into three major pieces. The first piece is data entry pages, in which you basically enter the data and plan your year. So it involves annual plan, calendar, training database, and monitoring database. All these represent links to the different tabs. As you can see, it's plenty of tabs. Most of them are reports and analysis. They take a lot of space. Some settings and these two are going to cover definitely. So there's a lot of tabs, and to be more quicker, just switching tabs, I made this start page, and you can quickly see how things fit into a nice into a bigger picture, and you can see the whole features of the software. So the first one is data entry pages. As I said, here you enter your data. Reports and analysis. So based on the data you entered, you get different type of reports. And we have a settings page where you can set up the options and basically the drop down list for skill, strength, power, energy system, and recovery and nutrition components of the annual plan. So let's go over different tabs. Annual plan, clicking over here, is going to take you to a big page in which each column represents a week in a year. By clicking on this box, you can change the beginning of the of your annual plan. So today is April 8th, so I can start with April 8th, or just return it back to the beginning. The annual plan represents a couple of boxes. The first one is competition calendar, where you can enter the basic info regarding the competitions, training camp, travel, vacations, and testing periods. You can also enter different opponents in the case of combat sports, or like in team sports, different teams that you are playing against. All of these are drop-down lists, so you can, by clicking usually over here, is going to take you to a table. In this case, that's a calendar constants page, and this is a table where you can set up your own drop-down list, so it's a bit quicker to select than to write. Then we have a skill, strength, power and speed, energy system development, recovery and nutrition, and here we have a quick analysis and visualization of the training load and monitoring metrics, which I'm going to cover a bit later. So starting over here with the competition calendar, we have a period. We can select a different period, say off season, select different cells, merge and center, maybe create different color. Phase, same thing, maybe GPP, different color. Again, all these drop-down lists could be set up by clicking over here. That's a link that's going to take you to a table, or you can go over on the start page and go to a calendar settings. So here you have all the drop down list and all the settings from an annual plan. Here we have days. So in each week we have, of course, we have 7 days, and these are the dates. This is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can also color code these depending on the training you did. So you have a quick glimpse over what's happening in a year. Sorry for this. I accidentally create a new page. So this is a week in a year. So the order number of the week in a year, and this is a microcycle. Basically numbering weeks from 1 to, I guess, 53 or 54. Yes. Peaking index is a simple number that shows you the sport form or peak or sport shape. So if I plan maximum shape or hardest opponent here, I can write it down as 10. This might be 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So depending where you are in your cycle, off season could be 1 to 4 or 5, pre-season 6, 7, 8, and in season could be 8 to 10, depending on the opponent, depending on the length of the season. Opponent or activity, or here you have a room for 5 different opponents or games in a week. Here we have a simple drop-down list. These might be sparring partners, might be friendly games. It's up to you to just click over here and write down the opponent. So if you have a friendly, you can write it like friendly playing Manchester City, for example. And that's basically it when it comes to opponents. Training camp, you can, as with previous versions, you can write down your training camps, travel, break, vacations, and testings. So this might be field, laboratory. I put some a startup list so you can build upon, but definitely you can build up your own list by, again, everything is changeable and clickable. Before going to the other components like skill, strength, and others, over here we have a direct link to the calendar. So that's another feature of the annual plan. As you can see it in the start page, we have it here, calendar. So here is a more in-depth view of a given week, where you can actually write down the content of each training. The first column is the training time, might be 9 a.m. You can write anything you want, maybe team session, and might be duration, so it might be 90 minutes. And you can write down the different components of the session. Again, you can, if there's a different components, you can also color code it so it's might be a little bit more visual, and you can quickly see how things emerge and evolve over time in the calendar. Back to the annual plan. There's a quick link. If I wanna edit this week, I can just click on this one. It's gonna take me to that particular week in the training calendar. One interesting feature is that if you write down the training, if you write the training camp, vacation, opponents, by clicking on that week, you're gonna have indicators over here that you're gonna have, in this case, 2 matches or 2 hard sparring sessions, so you can plan for them in this particular week. Going back to annual plan, each box, in this case skill, strength, power, speed, energy system, and recovery nutrition, features a couple of same components. So in this case that's a phase. Again, drop down list, you can modify it. Subphase, type of a microcycle. In this case I write down a simple list. It's a base, load, impact, unload, variety, taper, competition, pre-comp, recovery, and shock. Again, you can change this. Number of sessions, it's a simple number that represents the number of sessions in a week. Component 1, in this case skill. Let's say this is a team sport, so component 1 might be attack, defense, attack to defending transition, defending to attack transition, technique work, set pieces, game plan, and whatever. So these are modifiable. So by clicking over, it's going to take you to the table representing that component and a list. So let's say this might be attack. So this might be, depending on the sport, it might be depending on what you want to focus on a given training block or training phase. This might be 2 versus 1 attack, or 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3. And going back to the annual plan, so you can see it changed to attack, and the drop down list features those drop downs we entered. So in this case might be 2 versus 1, and I've been working on those for, let's say, 2 weeks. One thing you can also do to enter more descriptive data is to select the cell and go to the review and new comment. So you can enter some extra, let's say, whatever, I just type something. So every time I click over or hover over with the mouse, it's gonna pop out. So same thing for every other component. It's up to you, it's up to the coach to modify this. This is the only tool, this is only the tool you're gonna use to basically put everything on one spot. Same thing for strength. We have phase, subphase, type of the microcycle, and number of sessions, component 1, component 2, component 3. In this case, these might be, as I love to say, these might be goals or objectives. So it might be a maximum strength, explosive strength, reactive strength, core strength, or whatever. And these could be prescriptions. So this might be, okay, we did 3 sets of 5, then 4 sets of 5, 5 sets of 5, and so on. Anything that's meaningful to yourself. Or this might be methods to reach certain goals. In this case, might be maximum effort, repeated effort, dynamic effort, or it might be core exercises. In this case, for example, usually in rugby and American football, it might be bench press, squat. So you can say, okay, for bench press and squat, we are doing 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 3, whatever it's your progression. This might be Olympic lifts, jump squat, or rotational strength, whatever. So you have a room for 5 components. Anyway, if anyone wants certain customizations, wants some more room, that's quite easy to implement and change. Power and speed, same thing as strength, features 5 components. You can change them, again, clicking over. You can change the name of the component and the name of this, changing the this top row of the column of this table. Going back, annual plan. So again, it could be lower body strength, lower body power, upper body power, rotational power, reactive power, or low intensity plyos. Again, it could be training objectives. It could be certain drills you implement. It could be certain methods you implement. Anything that's meaningful and descriptive to you. Energy system development, same thing. I'm not gonna waste more time on describing basically the same principles. Recovery nutrition, or here you can write down the recovery methods being done. Might be passive, active, supplements and diet. So you can write what's being done, and maybe providing additional comment for for that particular period or cell or week. I'm gonna come back to these: the training load and metrics monitoring. So basically, up till now we covered annual plan and training and training calendar. Going back to the start menu, we have a training database and monitoring database. Let's cover training database. In this tab, we enter information regarding the training being done, competitions, injury, illness, location, surface, and everything. You're gonna quickly see how is that being done. So the first column is date of the training, training time, athlete. In this case, I enter data for 3 athletes. Training type. Anyway, before I proceed, on the first row, you can click. That's a link. It's going to take you to a drop-down list where you can actually see and set up your athletes or the information regarding a certain column. For example, training type. I enter a couple of different types of training. That's quite common. So each row represents one athlete. And if you have 30 athletes, 30 rows are going to represent one training session. So for every training session and each athlete, you need to enter data. This might look tedious to begin with, but usually you can create another tab and create different forms. So you just copy paste them over here, and it's quite fast. So you have training type, training status of the player. So it's full participation, modified participation, part, missed, and away. Duration of the training. This is a session RPE. So you enter that, and it's color coded from 1 to 10. From 0 to 10. 0 represents the day off, and it's quite common for coaches to miss entering 0 as a training load, or missing the day off. That could be quickly seen in some of the analytics or some of the reports pages, just to correct for an error or a missed value. In this case, I'm gonna enter 10. This is location of training, and these are like extra features like surface, equipment, shoes. This is a temperature, the weather outside. In this case, if you're playing a game or having a hard sparring or a match, you select the opponent. Same thing as on an annual plan. And outcome: win, loss, draw, or cancelled. Again, you can always change the drop-down list by clicking on the top row. This is a space for a extra note, maybe describing the cancellation or I don't know, anything that's meaningful to you. Recovery methods. So if this athlete did any recovery method on that day, we select it and we enter the duration of that method. Same thing for travel. If there's some traveling being done, we enter it over here, and travel duration in hours. Travel is color coded as blue, so you can quickly, when you scroll down, you can quickly see where the travel is being happened, recovery methods, injury, and illness. This is how we enter injury data. We have injury location. This one is not drop down list. You enter the location of the injury. In this case, it's hamstring. Severity of the injury. We have three levels. So training was stopped, training was modified, and training was normal. If we did any therapy for that injury, we write it down, and this is a training status. So this is a very important aspect because we can enter injury data as injury occurrence and days lost or time lost due to injury. So if the player got his hamstring injured, so we enter that only once. So we enter injury location and injury severity only once. But as long as the injury is ongoing, we write down the injury status as injured or semi-recovered. Using this column, we calculate the days lost, days or games missed due to injury. Using these two, we calculate number of injuries or re-injuries occurring. So we enter the injury only once, again injury only once, and injury status we enter every day until he is on a rehab room or outside of the playing field. Same thing for illness. Illness type for that day. I brought down some common types. Same thing as with injury, the illness severity. So severe training has to be stopped, training has to be moderate, and there was normal training. If you give any medicine to the player, you can write it down over here. And illness status. So same with injury. With illness type and severity, we enter only once. So we use it to calculate occurrence, how many times he was injured, and as long as how many times he was ill. And using illness status, we calculate how many training sessions, games, or whatever was missed due to illness. So if the player is normal, you can just, you don't enter this one. So that's basically it. It looks like it's a lot of work, which basically it is. But if you learn how to copy paste the usual templates, you're probably going to have a team practice and full participation 80% or 90% of time. You can just write down in in another tab and just copy paste it quickly over here. It's important to, when you enter data, if you enter additional data, the table is going to automatically move. So let's say this is a 8th of April 2014. And you enter the data. If you enter some more data, you need to take this one and just extend it. So takes the data into consideration. Okay, going back to the annual plan. Monitoring database. Here you enter any metric you keep tracking of. So that might be testing data, might be GPS data, might be match performance, like number of passes, scoring, whatever. So we enter that in a format like a date, athlete, the metric, and the value for that metric. Again, by clicking here, you can modify the athletes or you can describe the metric. It's quite simple. So, for example, if today was 8th of April 2014, athlete 1, maybe he did height test and he is 195. That's it. By clicking over to the metric, it's going to take you to the metric list. That's over here in athletes and metric settings. Here you can set up the athletes list. Here is our positions, date of birth, node, and whether is he active or not. The metrics is a is a simple table that consists of a name of the metric. So these are a couple of ones I enter just for the sake of example. Type of metric, description. This is a unit of measurement for that metric, and this one represents basically the context for that metric. It's used for graphing. So here, for example, let's say mass, maximum aerobic speed. We can say that bad score is there, is 14 and below, average is 16, and excellent is 20. Here we can also enter typical error for that test if you have the parameter. Smallest word pile change. If you're not familiar with these two concepts, I highly recommend checking Will Hopkins. This one represents the target. So this is used in athlete profiling, which I'm going to cover a bit later in the video. And you can, for now, this is linked to the excellence score. So the target for this metric is already predefined as excellence score, but you can change it manually to anything you want. So going back to the annual plan. So we covered annual plan, calendar, training database, and monitoring database. For these, it's important to have some data already in a database to be useful, which I'm going to cover a bit later. Setting pages, we already saw some of them. So by clicking here, you can change all the drop-down lists. This is for a training database. Again, like types of surface, equipment, shoes, illness, and injury types and descriptions. Athletes and metrics, we covered that one. Here you set up the athlete list and metric list. Calendar, we set up opponents, training periods, training phases, peaking index, and so forth. Skill, again, these are the components of the skill, annual component of the annual plan, strength, power, energy system, and recovery nutrition. So clicking over, you can see the phases, the phase of the power, power component subphases, type of a microcycle, number of sessions, and drop-down list for training components. In some of them I enter a picture. Some of the classifications I like to use with power training, and also energy system training. There's also one for strength training, of course. It involves a load exhaustion table, which you can use. This is a picture, but it's I took this room to just put some interesting stuff that could be referenced a lot. So basically, today we covered the overall annual planner with the components, and we covered the setting pages. In the next installment, I'm going to show you how to do reports, but I'm going to use some random data so you can have something to work with. One more thing is by clicking over, it's going to refresh the database. The first time you click it, it needs to load up the PowerPivot. It might take some time, as you can see. You can see stuff being updated over here. There's a lot of tables and link tables, and all that stuff needs to be refreshed. It's still updating. Again, this is only the first time you click on it. Okay, that's done. So stay tuned till for a next installment of the how-to video. Thanks.